What's going on, everybody? Merry Christmas. Happy Hanukkah. Happy Kwanzaa. Happy day. Happy joy. Whatever it is, you out here celebrating Merry Christmas. Happy holidays to y'all. And don't forget to call your mama and them. All right, so what's going on, everybody? Big show tonight. Obviously, Christmas. Oh, hold on. We got to set the mood. I apologize. First off and foremost, let me recognize I got Christmas lights, just like that. Boom. Good to go. Okay. How is everybody? All right, let's see who we got in here tonight. Uncle Stu, how you doing, sir? Hot Shots YT, welcome to the channel, sir. Drone Chaser ZL1, first thumbs up. Appreciate that, sir. Thank you very much. Hey, Big Dog Brett, I appreciate you being in here. Thank you, sir. Tonight, Santa Dog Brett, thank you very much. Let's see, Ballard Sports Media, how you doing, sir? Brad Pitt, Sarah Crane, Elite GB, Mr. Web Payne, one of our resident members. Thank you for showing up, sir. And Killer Mime, I'm so glad to see you. All right, so wow, it's been a busy week or two, hadn't it? I mean, goodness, look at all the stuff that's going on. Hey, Rob F., how you doing? Let me not leave you out, sir. There has been so much stuff going on. I can't wait till we get a couple of people in the stream here so we can kind of go over what's going on. There is a lot right now in the college football world that is a stirring. Things are a buzz. And there has definitely been some people that's not too happy about the way some of the things went. So we're going to go over a whole bunch of stuff. We're going to talk about the Gus Malzahn situation. We're going to talk about Clark Leah. We're going to talk about South Carolina. We're going to talk about Alabama versus Notre Dame. We're going to talk about the Coastal Carolina getting left out, totally disrespected. Georgia playing Cincinnati in the Peach Bowl in Atlanta, which is already sold out, as well as the opt-outs, my personal opinion of the opt-out situation. So we'll get into that too. But let's not forget that this is the season of giving. And if you like to give, feel free to give to family, to friends, because I'm freely going to give my opinion. Boise coach coming in from Auburn, Mr. Hassan Pfeffer, however you want to say his name, it doesn't matter. Georgia and Alabama both going to be smacking him around. They talked this poor guy into taking his job, and I do feel sorry for him. Mr. Boise State himself has an overall record of something like 70. I want to say it was like 76-23, or might be 73-26, something like that, over his tenure there. A very seasoned coach, but not necessarily in a power conference. So a lot to be desired from this guy, Boise State. So, yeah, we'll see about them. So anyway, all right, first and foremost, is there anything on you guys' mind you guys want to throw in here? Don't forget to hit the like, subscribe, thumbs up, share. Help me beat the YouTube logarithm by hitting the share and hitting the thumbs up. Really, really appreciate it. Yeah. So Drone Chaser says, please give Notre Dame a blessing because they need it bad. I'm guessing he's an Alabama fan. That's all right, though. We appreciate him being here. Okay, so for those of you who don't know, Tennessee ran away from a bowl game, which I can't figure out how they got in a bowl game anyway, but they did. Yeah. That's weird. So Army apparently is going to be playing Liberty, I think as it is. Elite GB says, a few buddies in our Dog Nations chat are doing a bowl game pool every year. Loads of fun competition. Awesome. I typically don't get too much into the bowl game betting pools. Yeah. Somebody give Ohio State a blessing. Dabo got something to prove. Yeah. About that. We'll also talk about that too, because my goodness. All right, so I guess let's go ahead and jump into it. I'm going to throw out the invite if you guys care to join. Tiger Raven, how are you, young lady? It's been a while since I've seen you. Welcome back. Missed you much, but my aim is improving. Yes. So let's talk about Notre Dame losing. Notre Dame losing to Clemson in the NCAA. What's up, Trenches? Championship game, and only get pushed to fourth place. I'm sorry, I have a problem with that. Not only did they get beat, they got absolutely mollywopped. We've been talking about for a long time how it would be two SEC teams that would get in. I don't really see how Notre Dame got in over undefeated teams. It basically is telling these other teams that wins don't matter, and it's also with Ohio State getting it, it's telling people that the number of games don't matter either. So yeah, that's pretty bad. So Trenches, you want to join the show, man? I know last time you said you feel bad for hogging up the time frame here, but I'm gonna put it on you if you want to join. Feel free. Let's see. Dabo got the media in a tizzy this week. He does a good job of that, though. He does a good job of keeping focus on Clemson. A lot of times, Clemson on the media forefront tends to kind of fall behind the scenes for whatever reason. I don't know if the media just doesn't like covering them as much as they should, or what. But that seems to be the case. He said, "Give me 30 minutes putting the kid to bed." Man, I know how that is. So let me see. Have a big announcement. Okay. So I am going to do something here. Somebody knows the trouble I'm in. Nobody knows my sorrow. Okay. Let's see. Working on something. Stand by. Trying to do something here. There we go. Yeah. Tennessee was supposed to play West Virginia. Liberty's playing Coastal Carolina. I think it was the Liberty Bowl. Chris at Clemson. You're not sure if speech impediment, too much alcohol, or just a natural born native South Carolinian. Not sure. Could be any of those. Actual size. Kids from 1 to 92. Though it's been said many times, many ways, Gus Malzahn sucks. They broke the Gus bus yesterday. Woo! Yeah, sorry guys, I just can't help myself sometimes. Oh, how is everybody doing tonight? Does anybody have family in town? Does anybody have family? That's what I want to know. I know a lot of people out there visiting on the holidays, out and about. So if you're ready, if you're very ready, Lou Rawls. Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. That's a compliment. Thank you. I'm going to share my screen here. And I'm going to show you guys why I wasn't able to cover the games like I wanted to. So here we go. Let's do this one. You ready? Here we go. This is Miss Kinsley Noel. And she was born Friday, and we were still in the hospital Saturday and Sunday. So that's for those of you who are asking where I was standing outside of the labor and delivery portion of the hospital. So for those of you that were very astute, you probably saw labor and delivery above the doors. But this young lady joined us. I'm very happy to have her. She's absolutely precious. Just one of the most wonderful blessings you can have is a healthy mom and healthy child. So yeah, it's been something I didn't want to announce until we got her out here, got her home safe. She is home. She's doing well, and her name is because of the Christmas season. So this is Miss Kinsley Noel. Very, very very, very happy in my very, very beautiful wife. So yeah, so that's that. So if you don't like it, too bad. I like it. She sleeps a lot right now. What's going on, Dennis? But we had a little bit of concern to start with, but everything's doing good right now. So really, really happy with that. So this is the newest Georgia Bulldog fan you have probably seen. This young lady is only a few days old. Sleeps a lot. Gets that from her dad. Thank you for all the congratulations. I really appreciate it. Thanks for the support, guys. It does mean a lot to us. Yeah. Got a registry or something, sir? I do not, but I could probably put something together. I have to get you in touch with my wife. Yes, sir. She is. She's absolutely incredible. She had her eyes open today and is all wide-eyed and looking around. So if I don't get anything else for Christmas, got something right here that's one of the best Christmas presents of all time. So, proud Papa. That's number 4 for me. I am retired. No more. We're done. Shutting up shop. All done. What's going on, Husker Gray? Also, since this is a new this is the last one. It's time for Big Dog Brett to slim down a little bit. So the next couple of months, you guys may see me lose weight. I lose weight well when I want to lose weight. But yeah, so I'm probably going to go from being a big guy like I am now to just a regular big guy. I'm probably going to, because right now I'm running about 280, 285, and that's a little much. But I'm going to slim down probably around to about 225, 230. So you guys will see that coming over the next 6 months or so, but there's not going to be a lot of videos. I've had people ask me before if I was getting sick. So what's going on, Keith? Welcome back to the channel, sir. We love having you in here. I was just showing off my I was showing off Tiny right here. Keith Carr was one of the very first who knew about Miss Kinsley when she was born. So yeah, very, very happy to have her. Very, very happy. What's going on, Michael? Dude, he said, dude, me and you are twins. I'm 6 foot tall, sir. 6 foot tall. 6 foot tall. I'm going to go ahead and post the link again for those of you who would care to join. You don't have to show your face. You can just ask questions or you can just talk. And you can talk about anything. We can talk about football. We can talk about Christmas. We can talk about family. We can talk about people coming in from out of town. What's your favorite holiday food? One of my personal favorite topics. So let me go ahead and chuck this out there for you guys. I want to know what you guys' favorite holiday dessert is. Favorite dessert. I have two, but favorite dessert. Oh yeah. You know what, Sarah? We played that song. We played it today. We're making Christmas cookies. Though it's been said many times, many ways, Merry Christmas to you. Strawberry pretzel salad. Good night. Pecan pie, pumpkin pie. The pecan pie fans are in the house. Woo. He said, Lou is back. What are you talking? Oh, sorry, man. I'm in a good mood. I sing when I'm in a good mood. I really do. Sweet potato pie with whipped cream is really good. I like that one. Texas Rock says his favorite dessert is brisket. Now, that's a Texan for you right there. Let's see. Chocolate cream pie. Chocolate silk pie is one of my favorites, too. Devontae Wyatt coming back in 2021. Sweet. Let's see. Key lime pie. Oh, yeah. I love some key lime pie. My wife is a huge key lime pie fan. There's a place in South Carolina called Rita's. And right by it's not oceanfront, but it's right across the street from the ocean. And he said, I'm diabetic, so insulin. Eggnog and fudge is good too. Yeah, he said, me too. That's why I have twins. Well, I have 4. I'm done. Uncle Stu, I am not saying that, sir. I appreciate the thought. We're having steak on the grill for Christmas. Sarah, as you know, I like to cook. One of the things I want to do is I want to take I saw a recipe for a steak where you take steak and you cook it in the oven, and then you finish searing it on the Blackstone. So yeah, I'm gonna do that the next time I try that. Brett, are you going to try to get the Clemson Georgia game next year in Charlotte? Sir, didn't you just hear me say I have 4 kids? I'm lucky to find the money to go to McDonald's, man. Yeah, so steak on Christmas. Golly, that sounds good. You know what sounds really good? Steak and eggs for breakfast Christmas morning. I'm a steak and eggs kind of guy, man. Let's see. Somebody said something up here I was going to touch on here as far as the is it pumpkin pie, pecan pie? All right. You got to get a Blackstone. If you don't have a Blackstone, get a Blackstone. Beg Santa Claus for one, but you got to get one. He said, yes, but I have to say by then you will need a break. You're right. I need a break now. My poor wife needs a break too. So, all right. Now, there's 2 camps, as far as I know. There's 2 camps when it comes down to Christmas food. Chinese food for Christmas was the best. Toy Story, not Toy Story, A Christmas Story. There you go. It's smiling at me. Michael Hogue, a Blackstone is a flat top griddle that runs off of propane. It's very similar to what you see in like your Japanese steakhouses. And I have one, and I cook on it frequently. I cook breakfast on it. I love to cook breakfast on it. I cook hibachi on it. I've actually cooked hibachi for Keith and his family. I've cooked burgers all the time. Philly cheesesteaks are awesome on it. Bacon is amazing on it. It's just incredible. After my dad passed, cooking turkey and ham ended for me. Oh, there's 2 camps. There's ham and turkey. What do you guys think? Ham or turkey? Let's see who we got. What we got? Right when Toy Story comes out instead of Christmas Story. Fragile. This is for you, Brett, and everybody in here. And that is what is. Whoa. That is the one thing that you can take and put a positive spin on 2020 despite being a crack test here for everybody. Okay. I'm not sure what that means, but okay. Brisket, Texas rocks with the brisket again. Ham, neither for Christmas. Neither ham nor turkey, sir. We've got to have a discussion. Ham, brisket, ham, prime rib. Rob, I'm coming to your house. Unless it's smoked turkey Texas style, then no ham. Then no ham. Is it no ham or no ham? Yeah. It's like the sentence, let's eat, Grandma, or let's eat, Grandma. See, the commas are very important. Turkey. I am a ham guy. We normally buy a big turkey for Thanksgiving. Sometimes we buy 2 because we'll throw one in the freezer because usually they're on sale and they're cheap, and then we do ham for Christmas. Now my wife makes a killer pineapple dressing, but she won't make it for no ham. But she won't make it for Thanksgiving. I get so irritated every year because I want my pineapple dressing and she won't make it. So yeah. A positive for you would be the birth of your daughter last week, and that's what I'm referring to. Something that was positive. Oh yeah, absolutely, sir. Miss Kinsley Noel definitely was a blessing, and we are glad to have her. I'm missing some stuff. I'll find it later. But yeah, we excuse me. We have an addition. Oh, here, there you go. The one, the only. Sometimes lonely.
How y'all doing?
Good, sir. Good, sir. How are you?
Doing all right, man. How you doing?
Pretty good, man. So, what's your thoughts tonight?
Hey, man, I'm chilling, dude. I'm ready for Christmas. Got all my shopping done. Bought the last thing today, so just looking forward to hanging out, man.
Nice.
Officially, unofficially, got to work tomorrow. So
I think everybody's doing that right now.
yeah.
There you go.
What's up, Trenches?
What's going on, man? I'm trying to get this stinking phone to stay still.
Man, this man's got all the gear in the world, and he can't buy a cell phone holder. Every
I got
time,
one, man. I just always leave it in my truck on the windshield, on the visor.
every time I see this guy, man, his phone is like.
I'm trying my best here, man.
I swear, dude, it's like you hired an octopus to be a camera guy.
Hey, man, you want to see something cool? Have I ever showed you this? Check this out.
What you got? What you got?
This.
Oh man, those are sweet. I've seen those. Is it Braves?
The dugout mug. It's a mug, bro.
Yeah, it's awesome.
It's made out of a baseball bat.
Nice, dude.
Yeah,
that's pretty cool. I got a lathe, man. If you ever want to buy the bat and make one, we can do that.
Awesome.
So, which one of you guys has the best singing voice?
Oh man, it definitely ain't me, bro.
I got kicked out of the volunteer choir, man. We don't need that kind of detriment around here. So you got to go.
Michael Hogg, my wife got it for me for birthday or Father's Day last year or something. I'm not sure, but they sell them in the Braves clubhouse store up here at Truist Park. So you can order them too. So.
Hey, I want to tackle this.
They're pretty expensive, but
I want to tackle this comment right here real quick.
Boom.
Michael Hogue says, for me, despite being homeless for the last 5 months and in the process of going through a divorce, Brett is that I moved to an apartment yesterday and having 5 job offers after the first of the year. Sir, I absolutely commend you. That's awesome, absolutely commendable. A lot of people, and just so you know, a lot of people have become homeless at one time or another. And it's people like you that continue to fight to get up out of there and improve their situation. I have a ton of respect for. So hats off to you, sir. Really appreciate your endeavor and stay with it and keep after it, man. Good job. Very cool. Michael Hogue says, I wish they would have them for the Cubs. Keith, he's talking to you.
Yeah, I think they make them for all teams, man. Just check out Dugout Mugs is the website. I'm not sure exactly what their website is, but I know Dugout Mugs on Twitter.
Yeah, you can get one Cub one every 80 years.
Hey, so if you guys would do me a favor, jump over on Twitter at UGA Big Dog Brett and just leave a comment anywhere you would, or you can tag me in any comment that you would like. This probably really lets me know how much penetration we're getting through into the Twitter space, Twitter sphere, and looking at adding the Instagram to the profile. As you guys know, I have a super busy home life and a super busy work life, and it takes a concerted effort to come do the show sometimes. So, it really helps when I know that you guys are out there. All right, Fusion X, how you doing, sir? Welcome back. Crimson Brave says Brett. ... I'm assuming there's a statement after that, sir.
He's typing a lot too.
Yeah, he's writing a book. So I don't know. He might be bragging on the defamation of.
Hey, it's down there.
Yeah, it's down there. It's right at the bottom. It's that UJ Big Dog Brett. Yeah, that thing that scrolls across the screen. That's it. There's if you want to email me, you can email me at bigdogbrett18@gmail. Trenches will tell you I respond to my email pretty quickly.
Yeah.
If you send me something on Twitter, I respond almost immediately. I even have people that are overseas that send me email sometimes at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, and I typically respond to those within just a few hours. That's just the way I am. I really appreciate all the support you guys give me, and I try to make sure I'm available to you. I'm not saying I'm anybody special, but I do take you guys' support very seriously, and I try to make sure that I keep my feet on the ground and stay in contact with everybody I can. I want to make sure I'm accessible to you guys. Again, not that I'm anybody special, but I always want to be in contact with everybody that wants to be in contact with me. So maybe I said that right. I don't. Let me remove this right here. Stop the screen. There we go. Okay, so let's jump right into the insanity that is the end of the 2020 season. Rob F is going to ask right out of the gate, will the Dogs be ranked preseason #1 next year? No. Top 3? Probably not. UGA would have to go out and put on a damning performance against Cincinnati to even probably stay in the top 10. If they don't go out and put on a really good show with Cincinnati, we'll probably hover around the 10 mark. You have to consider that UGA has a lot of players right now that are not playing in this game. And we'll get to that here in a little bit. But there are a lot of players not playing in this game, so I'm actually a little concerned. I'm concerned about the mentality of the team, whether they actually want to play this game, whether they're going to take this game seriously. And I think a lot of that could really affect our rankings for next year. But we'll talk about that.
Just a quick comment. I don't think it really matters what we are ranked next year. Game 1 is Clemson. And, I mean –
I agree. You beat Clemson, you're in the top 3.
Yeah, you're at the top. So, I mean, we got to beat Clemson regardless. So.
I'm going to tell you the good news is we play Clemson week 1. The bad news is we play Clemson week 1.
It's bad news for them too, but
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like both of these teams were like, man, I wish we could play like week 3.
They're going to be breaking in a new quarterback. So.
Yep. The quarterback
they have a veteran.
Yep. They're not going to have a super seasoned quarterback, but the quarterback they have is not bad.
No,
but they're losing. They're going to lose a lot of guys this year, so we'll see what happens. Before we jump into that, the first thing I want to talk about is the college football playoff. Their selections. What's going on, Sea Dog West? Another one of our resident members, Stray Dog, sir. How you doing, sir? Glad you can make it. Another one of our resident members. Thank you, sir. Trenches is actually one of our resident members as well. He chooses to join the channel. You guys feel free to join the channel anytime you like. But there is a members-only section, and there will be more content provided in the members-only section after the main season is over. But I try to save as much info as I can for the live show because, man, it sometimes it just is what it is. As far as the college football playoff committee, I'm going to ask you two guys here right out of the gate. Do you think they got it right?
Hell no.
No, I mean, I voiced my opinion last time. I don't think Ohio State should have been considered. And then after Notre Dame getting trounced like they were, I think one of those two teams should have slid out, and Texas A&M should have been in there. That being said, I mean, Alabama or Clemson is going to win the thing, right? I mean, so
let me throw my 2 cents in.
I was fairly disappointed.
Yeah. So let me throw in my 2 cents here. And I want to get your opinion. I know I'm going to get some pushback on these because people are going to say I'm an SEC homer. Yeah, but sometimes the facts are what the facts are. I think watching Florida play, Florida is certainly capable of beating Alabama. They proved it. They were right there. If they would have used their timeouts wisely and given themselves more time down on the other end of the field, I feel it's possible they could have come down the field and won that game. I don't feel like Alabama's defense was playing good enough to stop Florida if they'd have put together a drive there on that last drive, and I feel like they probably could have won that game. They gave Alabama more of a game than anybody else gave, and that's to me one of the best games I've seen all season. So to watch a team get blown out by Notre Dame or by Clemson, and then they let them in, and then see Florida, which is clearly an excellent team, play Alabama to the wire and not let them in. I'm like, wait a minute, this don't pass the eyeball test. Now, you can't sit there and say, oh, they got 3 losses. Well, you can't make me believe that losses count if missing games don't matter, and if being undefeated doesn't matter. So why should losses now matter?
Yeah. Well, what's disappointing to me is that over the past 4 or 5 years, it seemed like there was this progression towards wanting to have a tougher schedule for teams to separate themselves with a tougher schedule. And get away from these, powder puff games. And I like that. If the current system's what we're going to have, we need more teams playing tougher schedules to determine where they are. This season, we took a huge regression on that, in my opinion. The playoff committee basically showed that they value a 0 in the loss column more so than what you do in the win column. You take an Ohio State, which, they may be the best team in the country, but there's got to be some value to actually playing games. Because, you can cherry pick 5 or 6 games from any of these top 10 teams. If you eliminated some games, every one of these teams is 6-0. Who's to say Ohio State might have dropped some of the games they didn't play? They historically do. That's why they always struggle. They always drop one game to somebody they shouldn't have beat. Was it Purdue a couple of years ago? They always drop a game here or there. And
Minnesota not too long ago.
It's unfair. And so what happens is now you take a team like you look at the Clemson Notre Dame game, right? When they didn't have Trevor Lawrence, Clemson should have just not played that game.
Yep.
And so what's going to happen next year? If you have somebody that's potentially sick, one person with a COVID, you're going to have teams wanting to cancel games rather than play them because it's more advantageous for me to maintain a 0 in the loss column and not play a game than to actually play a game.
And you're 100% right because Texas A&M could have pulled the same thing with Bama and no one even have a conversation right now.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, and there needs to be some liability. There needs to be some incentive to actually play football games.
Well, the problem with Ohio State is, so they had 2 good opponents, ranked opponents they played. Both of them were struggle wins.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't even pass the eye test.
Right.
So I disagree with you, Brett, that a 3-team loss shouldn't be in this year with Florida, even though they passed the eye test. But with that being said, I'm going to stick with what I said with the 3-team loss. I don't think Ohio State should be in. I think Texas A&M should get the 3rd. And then I agree with you on the 4th spot. I don't think Georgia should be playing Cincinnati right now. I think Cincinnati should get that 4th spot.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
Notre Dame can't lose that bad. Yeah, Notre Dame can't lose that bad and get in.
I agree. But here's what I'm saying. This is my thought process behind it. Is that if you're going to tell me that the reason you put Ohio State in is never mind the record, the eyeball test, right?
Then play one game.
Then play one game. Yeah. Or if you're going to say they played 6 games, then they're undefeated in their 6 games in their Ohio State, and there were games where they looked really good. Okay, pick Florida's 6 best games and tell me they didn't look amazing. Tell me they didn't.
I agree.
Florida in their best 6 games look better than Ohio State in their best 6 games. Keep in mind, this is me pulling for Florida. That ought to tell you how bad it is, right? So Florida basically got the middle finger and said, we're not going to let you in. If Florida had chose not to play Alabama in the SEC championship game, it is highly likely they would have put them in the college football playoff.
After losing LSU?
I don't know. I think they had to win that LSU game in order to get in. Because, you got Texas A&M sitting there with 1 loss and having beat Florida. So,
but what I'm saying is if you take and you compare a 1 loss, if you compare the 1 loss Florida had to LSU, and you can say, okay, maybe a choke game. I get it. But then – or the 2, because one was to Alabama or whatever. If you look at that, okay, their best ones against Georgia, right? And then you look at Notre Dame. Notre Dame got the brakes beat off of them by a team that you're telling me they're fixing to have to play not this game but the next game. They just literally got the hell beat out of them. There's no way.
Well, they did beat them before.
They did beat them before, though. Yeah.
Right, with a backup quarterback and like 8 guys out with injuries.
Yeah.
But okay, so then go back to the Florida Georgia. They beat Georgia half injured, and that's one of their best wins for Florida. So I mean, it kind of balances out on that conversation.
I'm not disagreeing. What I'm saying is that because of the way they have done things, they have allowed for all of these type of arguments to jump in. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. They got to extend the playoffs. That's the only way this is going to work. Or have a group of 5 playoffs.
You know what they need to do is they need to have set criteria. And if they're going to break that criteria, they have to have set rules as to why. You can't just say, we're going to put Notre Dame in because we think they're pretty good, when clearly the entire country knows they're not.
Yeah.
I think this year just kind of, in my opinion, cried for a non-chalk playoffs, and all we got was chalk. We got the 4 teams that everybody thought was going to be in it at the beginning of the year. Outside of, some people thought Georgia may be there before Newman dropped out. But once Newman opted out, I think everybody kind of shifted to these 4 teams. And so, and it's disappointing to see, a team like Cincinnati sitting there undefeated, and I wasn't in the UCF camp years ago. I thought they were on the outside looking in, but it's like this year, if one of these teams can't make it with everything that's happened this year, if I'm one of these group of 5 teams, you're literally telling yourself there's no way that we will ever be included in this thing. So we need to break off and do our own thing.
Not with 4 teams. There's no way you're getting it.
Yeah. We either have to break off and do our own thing, or we need to lobby hard to extend the playoffs.
Now, I will say this. I truly believe, because, like I said, Ohio State, it was a struggle bus for Northwestern and Indiana.
Yeah.
I truly believe if 3 and 4 had to play each other this year, you would see Notre Dame in a national championship. I don't think Ohio State could beat them. I don't think Ohio State could beat Notre Dame if they had to play each other right now.
And that's certainly possible.
That's what you're saying. Yeah,
I wouldn't disagree with that.
Not from what I've seen so far, because the 2 tough teams that they've played, Justin Fields has looked pedestrian, basically. Yeah.
I saw Daniel's putting up yards.
Yeah, outside of Trey Sermon having an unbelievable, just ridiculous day, and I know, credit to Ohio State offensive line for allowing that to happen, but if they'd have been playing against a team that could stop the run, they'd have lost that game.
Well, let me ask you this: do y'all think that Florida even has a chance in their bowl game? With everything that's going to be out, and I guarantee you, Trask is most likely going to be next.
Trask,
we know Oklahoma is on the run. You don't think he's going to opt out? Yeah, and Oklahoma's looking good.
Yeah, no. Oklahoma's peaking, and I think Florida is going to have a letdown, in my opinion. But
I got a question.
All right.
What does Florida have to play for OSU?
Yeah, that's the thing I'm concerned about.
I think Mullen's got to still prove himself.
The only thing that Florida has to play for is to not lose. That's the only thing they're playing for at this point, to not lose. This is just my opinion, and Gator haters are going to get mad. Gator fans are going to get mad, and I'm not trying to make you guys mad, but I'm telling you, I don't feel like the mentality on that team is what it needs to be yet. I feel like the mentality on that team is as bad as it has always been, or if not worse. You look at the stuff that's going on campus. You look at the stuff that's going on with Anmo and the head coach out there jabberjawing, and it has come back to royally embarrassing. I would be embarrassed if my coach went out there and said, "I guarantee a win." I would lose my mind. If Kirby Smart got on here tomorrow and said, "I guarantee we're going to beat Cincinnati," I would lose my mind. And tell you that is the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard a coach say. How in the world can you possibly guarantee a win? Now you can buy players, but you can't buy games.
I will say for the program, they need this win because they're going to need all the help they can recruiting right now with all the problems they got situated.
I'm just telling you, man.
I get what you're saying. Oklahoma definitely has more momentum going in this game and more of a reason to win.
Yeah, I think if everything was the same, I would take Florida in this game. But at this point, it's impossible. Oklahoma's peaking right now, and like you said, Florida's kind of having a letdown. The real question is what would happen having seen what we saw in the SEC championship game, what would have happened if Florida would have just handled LSU? Not blew them out, but just beat them by like maybe right at the cover, right around the cover.
Yeah.
I still don't think they get in, man. I don't think with this year and all the moving parts, I don't think a 2-loss team can get in.
I don't think so either. Based off of what I don't know if y'all watched the selection show. They basically said that Ohio State's record played no part in their decision. The number of games that they played no part. There was no dissension in the room about Ohio State having only played 6 games.
Well, the next year Georgia needs to play Kentucky, Tennessee, Vanderbilt.
Exactly.
A couple group of 5s, and then maybe Georgia Tech, and then just call quits for the rest to see if we get in. Because that it's not giving us a fair shake at a good season.
I agree.
Hey, Evan Smith, I have no idea, sir, because if I knew, I would have already made it happen. He asked me, what would it take to break the Georgia curse? I don't know short of the Raptor. I have no idea, sir. But my thing is this.
Hey, man, it's going to break next year.
Yeah, Georgia's definitely getting there. I think if Florida loses this game, that's a 4-loss season. That's certainly going to knock them out of the top 10. Georgia's going to finish ahead of them again. Dan Mullen still can't win his division. He can't win not division. He can't win his conference. You got a lot of players that they want to go to Florida, but they also have to look around and go, man, this guy's had 4 years here and he ain't done nothing really. 4 years.
Oh yeah, it breaks the future.
Yeah, 4 years, and he's a co-champion with Georgia. And people can say what they want to say. I'm going to tell you right now, if you walk into court and you say no contest, they hit your ass whatever they want to hit you with. You lose your court case, sir. Sorry, that's how that works. Yeah. If your wife shows up, she goes, "I got a picture of you with you and your girlfriend." You go, "Yeah, that's no contest right there. I can't fight that off. That's a loss. That's a L. Sorry, but it is. If you can't play your game and you say no contest, okay, you lose. Simple as that. Show up to a racetrack and say no contest and watch them mark it as an L. Show up in baseball and say no contest and watch them mark it as an L. You say no contest, that's an L. You win Georgia anyway, but that's an L. Sorry. So yeah, Georgia, Georgia co-champs. I hate to tell y'all that. If you don't like it, I'm sorry, but that's the fact.
No, I think you're hitting on a point though. If another good part of this game for Florida is they are playing to see, all right, well, in the future, this game could hold up to whether or not we can compete with Georgia if we're competing for second place again. If they lose this game, they're going to lose a lot of recruits and a lot of faith in Dan Mullen.
Well, they should never have had faith in Dan Mullen to start with. Dan Mullen
it's Florida.
Yeah, he's a Florida man. Dan Mullen has done a great job of getting Florida picked up out of the dirt that they thought there. And I thought McElwain was doing a pretty good job there. Dan Mullen has proved one thing. He can pick out a good quarterback. Now, it took him a while to get Trask in there because he had to go back and forth and he was beat up. But once Trask got in there and could do his thing, the guy can play. There's no doubt. You can't say Kyle Trask is a bad quarterback because he's clearly not. But my thing is this. How long are you going to have that guy? I'm pretty sure he's going to go pro. I don't see any benefit for him coming back. If you're a Heisman Trophy candidate, you've been in the program for a couple of years, your draft stock's probably pretty high. I don't think he cares about winning a national championship. He's proved that he can perform on a big stage because the offense didn't lose that game against Alabama. The defense did. And when you can compete with Alabama, he can walk out there to a talent scout and say, you show me another team that put more points on Alabama than I did. And he's going to say, well, look at all these 400-plus yards that I've thrown for. Look at all these records I set. I can play ball. I want money. And they're going to give it to him. I highly doubt Kyle Trask will be back next year. If Kyle Trask is gone, Florida is worse than where they started.
Yeah, I mean, I'll give credit to Dan Mullen. He's definitely proven that he can coach up a quarterback. That's definitely kind of his wheelhouse. So, I don't think if Florida struggles at the quarterback position, I don't think it'll be very long. You'll have somebody in there, somebody coached up. That's the one thing that outside of all the other craziness that Dan Mullen has. He's good with quarterbacks. So
right.
Well, it'll be Emory, right?
My thing is this: is that how are you going to be able to recruit a quality quarterback with them basically? I don't know. I guess falling apart like they have. I mean, think about this: they have a Heisman Trophy candidate. They have a couple of 1,000-yard receivers, and they still couldn't be standalone.
They're gonna out recruit all the other teams in Florida. So I mean, if you have a decent QB coming out of Florida, I mean, who's going to take them? I mean, unless somebody else goes outside the state goes down there. They're not going to go to Miami or Florida State.
No, they're going to go to Clark Lee at Vanderbilt.
They'll go to Central Florida.
Yeah, possibly.
No, I was saying next year it'll be what, Emory?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't see him throwing up serious yardage.
But I wanted to go back and just somebody said something about the Georgia curse. I've listened. I've heard of that, and I will say, there's some craziness goes on with Georgia sports, but being a Georgia sports fan is a lot better than a lot of other cities. The Braves are doing well. I think they're within a couple of years of winning a World Series. Everybody is thinking the Hawks are going to be in the playoffs this year. It made a lot of changes. Looks good. The Falcons just fixing to do a complete reset, which is going to be interesting.
Okay.
It's going to be fun to watch. I don't think they're going to make any hay, but hell, it's going to be fun to watch. Arthur Blank's not going to let that team stay down long. Georgia is in the conversation in the national title picture every year, even though we haven't won it. So and then Atlanta United won the MLS couple of years ago. So all of our teams are on the up and up, except for maybe the Falcons. But I don't think that'll take long. But
Falcons just need a quarterback, man.
Yeah, they need a quarterback. And why? I think the Falcons are going to draft 4th or 5th this year, and I guarantee I think they're going to go quarterback. Praying that Fields is sitting there, I think is what they're hoping. But I doubt he's that far.
Fields is gone.
We'll get the kid from BYU.
All right, so
there's some talks that Trevor Lawrence is going to pull an Eli Manning on the Jets.
I would.
Yeah.
You mean the Jaguars now?
Yeah, the Jaguars now. The Jets won a game.
Yeah, I wouldn't go to Jacksonville.
Yeah.
I just realized what I could do with my little. Well, how you like that? I like that.
I've been saying it for years, man. The Falcons need a quarterback for sure. Matt Ryan is one of those dudes, man. He's good and he puts up great numbers, but
I've just never seen a quarterback not be able to hold a lead that many times.
Yeah.
I have. His name was Jake Fromm.
You look at you look back at I don't want to spin this into a Falcons conversation, but you look back at the Super Bowl. There's a lot of reasons we lost that game, but a lot of it was the sack that took us out of field goal range. He took a sack. It was literally the worst possible thing that could have happened outside of a turnover on that 3rd down to knock us out of field goal range. We kick a field goal there and we win the Super Bowl.
Yep. All right, so I'm going to change gears on you guys. Did you guys know that the president of the Coastal Carolina wrote a letter complaining about lack of fairness in college football postseason?
No.
Coastal Carolina, let me see if I can find that real quick. Obviously, I can understand these guys as perturbed. Is that a word? Why they would be perturbed. But in the conclusion of the Carolinas' 11-0 season, the letter calls for equality of opportunity for the schools from a group of 5 and criticizes the flawed logic that ended with Coastal's number 12 ranking and Cincinnati 9-0 finishing number 8, which has left them absolutely, and I quote, absolutely flabbergasted.
Can you imagine? If they thought they were going to get in, they were looking through rose-tinted glasses anyways. We all knew they weren't. No matter what, they were going to let a 2-loss team in before Cincinnati got in for sure.
I don't know why they're stressing it. They could do the same thing UCF did. Just go to Costco, print you out a banner that says you're a champion, and roll with it.
Well, and going back to that UCF year though, wasn't that that was the year they beat Auburn in the bowl game after Auburn had beat Alabama, right?
Yeah.
So, Auburn beat Alabama, but it's the same thing we're talking about with Florida. They went into that bowl with nothing to gain.
Yeah, I know.
They had playoff plans.
Yeah.
I say things like that. It's like fighting an old man. It is a lose-lose. There's no way you can win that. It's like if you
Yeah,
need
we're
to
finding that out the Peach Bowl.
Yeah, pretty much. So this is one of the things he wrote. Football is the only sport where the deck is stacked insurmountably against those who have the inevitable classification of group of 5 before toe hits the leather each fall. And I think he's got a point.
Oh, yeah,
I think,
for sure.
But I also understand that the college football playoff committee is limited to only 4 teams. You move this to 8 teams, this problem resolves itself. You go to 8 teams, and they're like, you know what? We got a 9-0 Cincinnati. All right, put them in. You got an 11-0 Coastal Carolina. Okay, put them in. You know what? Florida did look pretty good. They're probably one of the better teams that could beat somebody. Let's go ahead and put them in. And Texas A&M looked pretty good. Let's go ahead and put them in. You know, maybe Georgia's still on the outside looking in, but my goodness, why would you? I mean, that solves that problem. But
after the season, as a Georgia fan, I still wouldn't be mad at that if we didn't get in.
No,
I wouldn't either.
You got to look at. I mean, if they go to an 8-game playoff, 18 playoff, which I think is what we're probably going to see in the next 4 years, when this, I guess, when the current thing goes off contract, it has to guarantee one of those group of 5s into the top 8 though, or into the 18 playoff, because it's not. I mean, it's not every year that you have a team like Cincinnati sitting there undefeated. I mean, some of the time, I mean, most of the time, these teams are sitting, you know, a group of 5 team is outside of the top 10 with 1 loss or 2 losses. They're sitting at like, you know, 15th or something like that. You know, most of the time the top 10 is made up of Power 5 teams, outside like this year and with the UCF year. So, I mean, I think they need to make one of those 8 teams be guaranteed a group of 5 team. Maybe the highest ranked group of 5 team gets an automatic bid into the playoff.
I could agree with that.
Yeah,
you know, that's what I've always
undefeated. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I've always said that, you know, I think an 18 playoff makes sense to me. If you take the Power 5 conference champions, get an automatic bid, right? And then you take the next 2 at-large Power 5 teams, which is basically the next 2 highest ranked teams that were not conference champions. You know what I'm saying? With a human ranking, whatever. I'm fine with that because they're at large. You had a chance to win your conference championship to get an automatic bid. So outside of that, I think you could vote on 2 at-large Power 5 teams. And then that last spot, I think, should guarantee a group of 5 contender, no matter who it is. The highest ranked one, whatever. It doesn't matter what their record is. They should be included. That would give them inclusion every year. They would have a representative every year, no matter what happens.
Well, why? Here's a question for you. I really don't know. I'm actually just asking. Why is it that we have to? It's most likely we're waiting to the TV renewals.
What happened?
What is it now?
I said, why are we having to wait till the TV renewals in 2024 to expand the playoffs?
I don't know. From my understanding, I don't know if they have to, but my understanding it's contractual right now through 2023. I don't know what it would take to break that, but I figured. I guess the way I look at it is if they were going to break it, they would have broke it this year. And they could have made a tremendous amount of money by just doing a 16 playoff this year and adding a couple of games.
Yeah, that'd be great
for TV. I mean, to have 2 more games on TV would have been a tremendous amount of money.
And it's not even just the money of the TV and the fans. I mean, you also got to look at all these stadiums and how much more money they're going to make. Like if now the Peach Bowl and the Orange Bowl become playoff bowls, man, the money that would come in just from that alone, just for the colleges and the stadiums, would be amazing.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I looked at tickets for the Peach. It's kind of crazy. It's like $120 you can get into the Peach Bowl.
That's the same as the Gator Bowl. Gator Bowl's like $100.
It's sold out now?
Yeah, it's sold out. So
I thought about doing it. It was cheap.
Yeah, me too. There's only like 10 tickets, but you know.
Yeah.
So C-Dog West says, Brett, what do you think about Miami in the Cheez-It Bowl? This is what I think. Hey. Man, the Cheez-It Bowl. Okay. I guess
I don't know why everybody rags on that, man. Cheez-Its are delicious.
Hell yeah, Jesus, are awesome.
I'm waiting on the Summer's Eve Bowl.
Yeah.
Somebody should be in charge of the names of these bowls, man.
Man, you look at all these teams that are just dropping out of the bowls, though. I mean, that lets you know right there that outside of the playoff and maybe the New Year's Six, man, nobody cares. These teams don't care about these bowl games anymore.
No one cares.
You got
3 wins in the bowl game.
And you got I mean, so you got all the players that are, potentially going to the draft. They're opting out, not playing in them because nobody cares about it anymore.
No.
The Pillow Pets Bowl.
And I mean, it's sad because before we had the playoff, these teams, players cared about the bowl games,
Oh yeah.
I don't really know what made a big difference, but I guess it's just because,
So here's the problem, right? This is just my opinion. The moment that we went to a 14 playoff and we named those bowl games, those bowl games forever, all the other bowl games forever lost their validity. Nobody cares about the Peach Bowl. Nobody cares about the Cotton Bowl. If it ain't the Rose Bowl or the Sugar Bowl, nobody's going to care. And that's because they feel like that's the only 2 games that matter.
No, you're right.
And so if you want these bowl games to matter, it's a very simple solution. Make them part of the college football playoff, and then people will care. Yeah. And then your Peach Bowl, your Cotton Bowl, all your bowls, all of a sudden each one of those has a meaning again. You can say, we played in the Peach Bowl last year. I'm like, okay, college football playoff. Okay, that's a college football playoff bowl. When you talk about the All-State Dorito Bowl, nobody cares about that.
Well, that's the thing. Like players all right, so Monty Rice opted out. You think Monty Rice is going to opt out if he has a chance to get a ring at the end of the year?
Hell no.
Nope.
No.
I don't either.
All right, so since you brought it up, let's talk about it. What's your opinions on the players opting out?
Honestly, New Year's Six bowls I think is ridiculous because those games bring in a ton of money, a ton of recruits, and it means something. Like you said, the Dorito, cheese puff bowl, I get it. Opt out, fine. But players like Kyle Pitts, Monty Rice, you're going to go first, second round. You don't want to risk it. I understand that, but you have an obligation to your team to keep playing. There's one more game to win. It's for your alumni. It's for your team. Go out there and do it.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, I've always said, like you said, I've always said that if you're playing in a big time bowl game, a New Year's Six bowl game, you should play. I mean, you should just play. I mean, there's too much exposure. That game means, the team is bigger than you, and so there's some of these guys that are looking to. I mean, JT Daniels. You just look at JT Daniels. I mean, that dude is looking. I mean, he's looking to have a tremendous game every time he steps out there. He needs it, and we need it. We need it as fans, and so you want every cog to stay on the team and to keep things going at least to the end of the year. But I mean, where do you draw the line, though? I mean, are we a couple of years from seeing like a Trevor Lawrence just not even play in the playoff? I'm the number 1 pick overall. Why the hell should I play? I mean, I'm just gonna quit.
If that happens, you're gonna lose fans. If you do that, people are gonna stop watching college football because there's no payoff at the end of the year.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And it's gonna ruin the sport at that
point.
So
there has to be some type of onus there because I mean, I look at it like a Trevor Lawrence. I mean, he's going to be the first pick in the draft, and we're literally you're literally depending on his character, to keep him playing the game. I mean, he could just leave and still get drafted, still make millions of dollars, still everything be the same, other than just a bunch of Clemson fans be pissed off.
Is it sad that if Ian Book opted out right now, I can't understand.
Yeah.
Like I wouldn't hold it against him. I'm like, I get it.
What would you feel the same way about Justin Fields
opting out? I would understand, but then again, at the same time, you only had 6 games this year, dude.
I think
The scouts have got to see you more.
I think Justin Fields has got to play more.
Yeah.
You know? I mean, he needs another. I mean, he needs another game or two because, like, if he comes out, I know he'll probably still be a top pick in the draft, possibly. But I mean, in the big games that he's played in, he's not fared very well. I mean, you look at last year.
Say that again.
Yeah, the big games, he's not put up great numbers. I mean,
I remember a guy that made a video about that.
Yeah, I mean, you look at the 2 games this year. I mean, he didn't look that great against Indiana. He didn't look that great against Northwestern. I mean, he, without like I said, without Trey Sermons having the game of a lifetime, they lose that game. I mean, I thought they were going to lose that game, honestly. And then you look back last year. I mean, in the playoff game, he did not look great.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I thought they were going to lose Northwestern. The whole time I was watching, I was like, sweet, we don't have to hear this debate. They're out.
Northwestern was a better team than them that day. Yeah. It's just that, Trey Sermons rushed for 360 yards or something crazy. Yeah. Which, I mean, credit Ohio State's offensive line for doing that. But, I mean, at the same time, I mean, this is a kid that transferred from – he transferred from Oklahoma there? I mean, he's not one of their guys. I mean, I don't know.
So
Justin Fields was definitely not Justin Fields has not been the MVP in any of the big games they played.
No. No, if it weren't for the running back against Northwestern, they wouldn't have won that game.
All right, exactly. Yeah.
He carried them.
He carried them literally.
Yeah.
So Pastor Dave, one of our resident members, he asked how many coaches turned down the job for Auburn. Not enough.
Yeah, I was kind of getting at what Webb Payne is saying is if you really think about it, outside of just the national praise that Justin Fields has got from the story of leaving Georgia and going to Ohio State and having a decent year and making the playoff, if you really want to look at what he's put out on tape, I'm kind of with the short season they had this year. I'm kind of scared that he's going to opt out, or that he's going to go into the draft and then come combine time, he's not going to be all that impressive.
So let me throw a kink in the conversation here. Do you think right now Justin Fields is saying, "Man, I wish I'd have stayed at Georgia"?
I mean, I think he said that originally, but I think he's fine now. I mean, because there was that story where where there was talks that he may come back, and his dad or something talked about it, or was talking him into it, or I can't remember, but there was some story that come out that he was potentially entertaining the idea of transferring back.
Well, I can tell you right now, if we would have had Justin Fields at the start of the year, we would have had an incredible football team. Well, I'm not saying Justin Fields is as good as JT Daniels. Don't get it twisted. But what I'm saying is that Justin Fields is clearly head and shoulders above Stetson Bennett.
Oh yeah.
And I feel
the reason I say he wouldn't come back was because, like we were just hitting on, or Keith was talking about, was his big games, his numbers aren't there. So his numbers ain't gonna be that this season.
No. And I completely agree. I said in one of my videos, actually in multiple videos, that I thought that Justin Fields did fine when I watched him play against lesser teams, but when it was when he got on the big stage that he really struggled, and that has continued to be the case. So we'll see what happens in the college football playoff.
And I don't know if it's necessarily big teams per se as it is decent defenses, right? I mean, Northwestern had a great passing defense, and they shut him down. Now, they didn't stop the run, but I mean, he did hardly anything in that game.
The passing game was non-existent.
Yeah. I mean, now they didn't. Now, when it comes to the second half, they didn't have to pass. So, I mean, his numbers were down because they didn't pass. So I get that, but I mean, what did he have? He had a couple picks in the first half, right? I mean, it seems like he did. I'm just trying to pull that out of the top of my head, and I know against Indiana, he threw two picks in the first half, and I think he ended with 3 or 4 picks in that game. I don't know. He's not been that and I'm not trying to poo-poo on him because of what everything happened. I'm just looking at it through a lens of, in the big games that I've watched, he's not been that impressive. Now, when they play, their normal schedule, which, like I said, 90% of their schedule is cake. He does well. And I mean, I don't know if that's credit to him so much as it is just him being an above average football player on a good team.
Yeah, I have nothing against Fields. I mean, when he came, I was so excited we got him, and then when he left, I was rooting for him still. Yeah. I feel like here's the biggest question: if he does terrible against Clemson, I don't see them winning against Clemson at all. But let's say he goes out there and throws 4 picks and maybe 22 out of 53 passes, like just a terrible game. Do you think he still enters the draft?
I do, because the media has pumped him up as being the number 2 quarterback in the draft. I mean,
I feel like it's going to hurt him.
I think it's going to hurt him too. And, and I think I really think it's going to come down to what, if they have a combine, if they do that, what he's going to do there. Because, I really he reminds me of a RG3, man. That's what I see. I see a guy that's going to be hyped up, going to go into the league and just kind of fizzle. But
poor RG, man, he had a ton of injuries.
Yeah, he did. He did. He had a ton of injuries, and Fields reminds me a lot of him. Like kind of a, he's shifty and kind of big, not super quick, but RG3 he just got destroyed, man.
Yeah.
And I've always said that Justin Fields and Tua both remind me of him.
All right, so I'm gonna. It's actually a question I want to answer or look at here. Michael Hogue says that Big Dog Brett. I have to ask, and I know it's early, but how many coaches will be on the hot? I guess he means hot seat next year.
Yeah.
Shit, all of them are gone. Sorry, all of them are gone this year, aren't they?
So here's my question. I think that's a Mullen question. Mullen. I think that's a worthy question because everybody likes to speculate on who's on the hot seat. Some of those people. Hey, how's it going, Kevin? Special shout out to Celine Driver. Celine Driver is a guy who frequents a lot of the college football channels, and he can't stand Todd Grantham, so I like him already. Celine's been around for a while. Really appreciate him joining the show. You're always welcome here, sir. We enjoy having our resident old guy to rib on a little bit. So, I'm going to rib on you a little bit, Celine. I like you, though. But to answer your question, how many coaches will be on the hot seat? I think a lot of coaches are going to be safe. If you're referring to the SEC, Kirby's safe. Saban is safe. They got a new coach in South Carolina, right? So they got a new coach in Vandy. So both of those guys are safe. I think Tennessee doesn't know what to do with head coaches, so I think Pruitt is safe. Auburn just got a new head coach, so he's safe. Sam Pittman is safe. Let's see. Mississippi State, I think they're okay. Texas A&M's definitely okay. Who does that really leave? Because I'm like practically at 10 now.
Kentucky.
So Kentucky, I don't think they care about football up there anymore, so I think he's safe.
Vandy got a new coach. He's safe.
Yeah. And you're talking about Coach O maybe? If Coach O has another bomb year like he had this year, I can almost certainly believe they would be looking for another coach.
The number one coach is going to be on the hot seats. It ain't in the SEC. It's Harbaugh.
Harbaugh, for sure.
Oh, yeah. So that's why I said if we're just talking about the SEC.
SEC, I can see Pruitt be on the hot seat because Texas, like you said, Tennessee don't know what to do with coaches. They cycle them in every 2 to 3 years.
Yeah, but I would have to say after this year with the lack of playing games, the lack of performance, the lack of crowd attendance, they got to be hurting for money.
Let me ask y'all this. This is something I thought of the other day. Are y'all surprised at the number of coaches across college football, professional football that got fired this year? Like,
Yes.
didn't you think this year that people would just get a mulligan, man?
Safe. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, the Falcons just completely fired everybody. And you got,
Yep.
there was more coaches fired across sports this year that at least sports that I follow or, teams that I follow.
The only one I understood
Crazy.
fully was Gus. When I saw his recruiting, I was like, okay, it has nothing to do with this year. That's fine.
Well,
But everything else, I was like, man, shouldn't this kind of be like a bye year? Like, see what you can put on the field. If it doesn't work, we'll get him next year.
Yeah, it's kind of wild, man.
I can see why they fired Gus.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And
firing Gus has been a meme for the past 5 years, hasn't it?
But God, that buyout so much.
Yeah.
But you know what?
Smart.
I think they gladly pay it. I think that they have seen that there is an opportunity with the talent that they had on the field against the hell they beat Alabama and Georgia same year. I don't know of any team other than LSU that can say that.
Yeah.
Seriously. So when you're talking about teams that are quality
Well,
in nature, huh?
Did Florida beat Bama on their run to the Tebow years?
I think they played Auburn that year, didn't they? No,
I'm talking about regular season.
I can't remember.
Okay.
Oh, so Celine Driver says this lard ass third year. This lard ass his third year, and he needs to go. I hope after the bowl game, which we will lose, he gets fired. He's talking about Todd Grantham.
Yeah, we know.
Oh yeah. I love Todd Grantham. I hope you keep him forever. Right up there with Gus. I'm a big supporter of Gus. I was a big supporter of Will Muschamp. I'm a big supporter of Jeremy Pruitt. So yeah.
We just don't want y'all hiring them as DCs.
When is Jeremy Pruitt going to stop getting head coaching offers, man? Like, honestly.
I have no idea, but I hope he stays at Tennessee forever.
He'll be the Falcons coach next year.
Yeah. Brett, wife said blow your nose. Ma'am, I could do that, but I'll be honest with you. Nothing's going to come out. I have a postnasal drip. It's in the back. I can't help it. It's there. I went to an ENT, and the ENT has told me that the only way to maybe fix that is what they call a U-triple-P, which is basically where they go in and they carve out about half of the back of my sinus cavity. And to be honest, it doesn't seem like it's bothering me enough to warrant that kind of money and that kind of pain. So I'm good. Sorry. Yeah. So Celine Driver says, stop it. I'm going to puke. Sorry, sir. Michael Hogue says, Big Dog Brett, I have to ask, could you see Jeff Brom here at Purdue on the hot seat, and what other coaches outside the SEC? Sir, I'm not necessarily familiar enough with Purdue to point out whether or not they need a new coach, but I can tell you that since I don't know who Purdue is, I can tell you it doesn't really matter who the coach is there. If your team hasn't been good enough to register on my radar for enough time for me to know who your head coach is, I don't really think it's something worth worrying about. So yeah, yeah. The coach that they hired in, which is Harsin for Auburn, he comes out of Boise State. The guy had a pretty good record for quite a while, but he has no ties to SEC recruiting. He has no substantial experience playing Power 5 teams, in my opinion. No, it's not Celine. That's why I don't want to do it. But I mean, there's so many things out there that I think this guy's going to struggle with. He might be able to go in and find some talent, but I think that this is going to be one of those coaching hires where he's got a very short leash. They'll let him play for probably 3 years, and if he's not a winning season coach by then, he's definitely gone. So, yeah. Let's see. What else do we want to talk about? Obviously, Jim Harbaugh firing the defensive coordinator, Don Brown, to give himself another year here. Michigan finished the season 2-4. The defense is ranked 87th in yards allowed per game, 57th in yards allowed per play, and was in the bottom tier of rushing and passing allowed in games as well. You go back to 2016, they were ranked second.
He was a great resource of money.
Yeah, and he was ranked second in 2016. 17, he was sixth. 18, he was eighth. 2019, he was 10th, and now he's 59th. So there's been a substantial drop off in performance at Michigan, and he's blamed Dan Brown. But let's see what they can do with that. I don't know. For those of you on the channel who frequent my channel but maybe don't know who Celine Driver is, go check his channel out. He has a really interesting channel on both football and on some pretty high-end watches, and he really knows his stuff around his watches. If you're a person who likes the manly watches, he has an expert amount of knowledge. He does unboxing and all kind of other stuff. Go check him out. He's a great guy. So, C-Dog West.
Start looking at Orientals.
C-Dog West says, at Brett, do you think Lane Kiffin is waiting on Nick to retire, then he would jump to Bama? I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not sure that they would ask Lane Kiffin to take that job. I would almost bet you money that, just to be honest, just to be fair, with the amount of coaches that we've stolen from Alabama, I would almost bet you they would ask Kirby Smart to come back first. That Kirby Smart would like to get him down.
Lane Kiffin's about to go coach the Falcons.
Yeah.
Well, let me ask you this: if Saban retired this year, let's say he wins a natty, he doesn't want to start over with another, rookie quarterback. I would say Sarkisian gets the job.
Yeah, right now, that's for sure.
I would agree for sure. I think Steve Sarkisian done an excellent job whenever Saban was out for that game. It was the first game he missed in I don't know how many years of playing football. But yeah, I think absolutely that Steve Sarkisian would get that job. He already knows all the inner workings. He knows the playbook. He knows the players. He has deep recruiting ties. He's an excellent recruiter. People that work around him like him. He's familiar with the program and all of the upper echelon staff, and they all like him.
Oh, yeah, he can go in, and that program wouldn't miss a beat, I don't think.
Not a lick. Not a lick. You need Charlie Strong to come home. You do not want Charlie Strong down there waiting in Florida. You want him in Florida? Somebody get me a phone. I'm going to make that happen immediately. Third and long, Charlie Strong. You don't want to.
I gotta hop off, man. Hey, I appreciate it, man. I'll let y'all. You doing a show next week or no?
Yeah, I'm gonna do a show next week. I'm also going to do I'm in the process of making a video, so doing some of the editing. It's a Christmas special. You guys will love it. Don't miss it. It's awesome. A great show.
All right, guys. I'll see y'all later. I appreciate it.
Yeah, send us a picture on the wrap paper you get, man.
Hey, I'm gonna shout out my Twitter channel if you're all right.
Absolutely, go ahead.
Hey, at CKeithC. You guys follow me over there. Trenches, you have a Twitter?
I'm about to get one, man. Everyone keeps saying you need Twitter. I'm gonna hop on it this week and get it.
Right on. All right, man. Well, I'll appreciate y'all.
Yeah, Keith, go ahead and throw that your Twitter handle in the chat here so everybody can see it.
All right, man.
Keith is really in tune with both the University of Georgia, the Falcons, and the Atlanta Braves. He keeps up with all of the inner workings of all of those teams. He keeps his ear to the grindstone, as it were. So go check him out. A lot of good stuff with him. Thanks, Keith. Really appreciate you joining, man.
Right, we'll see y'all. Appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
See you, bud.
Yep. Celine Driver says Twitter is a sewer. Join Parler instead. I would say join both.
I have a Parler. I just don't have a Twitter.
Like I said, you can join both, and then you get to talk to everybody. So yeah, some people will get upset about that sort of thing. For me, I like being able to talk to everybody. So I've got both. He said I'm too young for Twitter, but here's a personal follow. I appreciate it, Fusion. Thank you. So something else I wanted to talk about here. Let me find it. Where did it go? Merry Christmas, Sarah. Thank you so much for that. Let's see. I just went to look up something. You get banned on Twitter too much. that might be a good thing, Celine. Back when I was a police officer, they used to say, if you're not getting sued on a regular basis, you're not doing your job. And unfortunately, that is true. Let's see here. So obviously the recruiting rankings have turned up pretty good for University of Georgia. And there is talks right now that Georgia may pull another unsigned 5-star. Have you heard anything about that, Santa Trenches?
I have not. Yeah, I just noticed that a little while ago. I have not noticed.
It's been that way ever since. Yeah, it's been that way ever since you got on. Just got off of Facebook jail sentence. Yeah, they're kind of sensitive over on Facebook these days, man. So
hey, man, I love Facebook. That's how I get all my business. I'll keep Facebook.
So what is your business, by the way?
Landscaping out here in Middleburg, man. So we hop on Facebook, man. We just get piled on mowing, mulching, rocks, pressure washing, edging, hedges, everything.
So put it down in the chat section. What how people can reach you if you want them to reach us through here, or put your Facebook information down there so people can reach out to you if that's something they're interested in doing down in your area. So feel free. I don't mind.
I'll be honest with you, man. I do not know how to do a chat from while on here.
All right. Well, here's what we'll do. You tell it to me and I'll type it. He gone. He's probably going to jump into the chat here for a second, throw it in there, and then he'll come back. But, yeah. So Georgia may have an opportunity. And from the workings around, Georgia may be signing a 5-star that hasn't signed so far. There's quite a bit left here. Between the hedges, lawn care, and I'm sure he'll list his contact information here in a second. There's some other targets here that Georgia may be looking at, so it's going to be pretty interesting. Let me see if I can get this in here. There we go. Celine, what city are you near, sir, if you don't mind me asking? I know you're in Florida, but I forget where. Hey, we're gonna add hashtag Fire Grantham to the channel.
I am I'm in Sarasota, Florida.
Oh yeah.
Hang on, I gotta mute that. Hang on, I forgot to mute that. I'm sorry.
Oh, you're all good.
No, I'm down Sarasota, Florida.
I used to stay with my dad, and he lived in Bradenton, so not too far from you, I don't think.
No, Bradenton is next city north of me, about 10 miles. Yeah. And that's where my ex-wife lives.
Well, I'll make sure I don't go there. So for those of you who don't know, Mr. Celine Driver here is a Hanukkah celebrator. And I'm not super familiar with Hanukkah, but I wanted to get your take on Hanukkah compared to Christmas.
Well, no problem. First of all, I did a video on my channel, Celine Driver, which, if you don't mind me pimping my channel for a second. I did a video on what Hanukkah is and the history behind it. Briefly, if you compare Hanukkah to Christmas in terms of its religious value, believe it or not, in Judaism, Hanukkah is not a top. Forgive me for calling things, putting them in tiers, but Hanukkah is not a top tier holiday in Judaism. There are 3 holidays that are bigger in Judaism. Rosh Hashanah, the Jewish New Year, Yom Kippur, the Day of Atonement, and Passover, which if you ever watch the 10 Commandments on TV with Charlton Heston, you'd know what Passover is. The blood over the door. Yeah, the blood over the door thing. Yep, exactly. Whereas in Christianity, Christmas is, in the religious context, Christmas is the biggie. That and Easter, because that's the
Second
purported birth date of Christ, which is Christmas. So that's a biggie. But and it's not to say that Hanukkah isn't considered an important religious moment in Judaism. It's just not one of the biggest ones.
Gotcha.
In terms of modern day stuff, where Christmas is exchanging gifts, gathering together with family, et cetera, et cetera. In Judaism, it's probably the rough equivalent is Hanukkah. It's turned into a time for gift giving and gathering of family and celebrating the miracle of the lights. And so in a modern context, Hanukkah is analogous to Christmas.
Okay.
In terms of the non-religious component. And the main problem, well, not a problem, but the main thing with Hanukkah is it doesn't follow the Georgian calendar that we all use every day. It follows the Hebrew calendar, and that's based on lunar cycle. So Hanukkah moves around all the time. I've celebrated Hanukkah right around Thanksgiving, for example, and I've celebrated Hanukkah starting 2 days after Christmas and going over into the new year. So it bounces around. Like this year, if I look at my calendar real quick, first night of Hanukkah was December 10th. And the last night was December 17th. So 17th. Yeah. So it runs 8 days and 8 nights. So my holiday ended a week ago tomorrow.
Okay.
So I'm just sitting back watching and enjoying all my friends getting ready for Christmas and doing all that last minute Christmas shopping, which unfortunately my younger daughter, who just came into town today, is going to be a victim of, because she forgot 3 gifts.
Well, if it makes you feel any better, I have some last minute Christmas shopping I still have to do, so I'm going to be one of those crazy people out there myself.
Well, it is a true blessing in the modern age for gift cards.
Oh yeah, except I will not give my wife a gift card, sir. I like breathing.
No, you shouldn't do that. You unless you want to stop breathing. No.
Well, I got 4 kids. They just resuscitate me, sir.
Oh. I don't know. I'm no good at. I haven't been married for a very long time, and I haven't had to buy gifts like that for a very long time for girlfriends or wives or anything. So I could recommend a nice watch or something, but other than that, I'm useless to you, sir.
So Fusion says, no cap, Brett. My mom just got an anonymous present for $300 in the mail from someone called the Father. That is creepy.
that is a little creepy.
That would terrify me.
I've never gotten an anonymous gift before, but I do know one thing, though. I just got an alert. I'm signed up to UPS, FedEx, and others for if something is coming to my address, I get an alert. Yeah. And I just got an alert today that something is heading my way from Seattle, and I have no idea what it is.
You're gonna get some of them Chinese beans in the mail. That's what you're gonna get.
I don't know I don't know what's coming from Seattle. I don't know anybody that lives in Seattle. I don't remember ordering anything, but so I'm a little scared.
But did you know about that?
Dude, I got a pair of beans in the mail from China.
There have been people all over the country that have been getting beans randomly sent to them from China, and Trenches is one of them.
Oh, no, not beans. I got a pair of knockoff Ray-Bans with the actual Ray-Ban case and everything from China that I never ordered. They came in like 2 months ago.
You know what? I got 2 packages on consecutive days from Amazon. You never guess what was in both. It was the same thing. I got one on a Wednesday, one on a Thursday. You'll never guess what they were.
watches.
No, you know those plates that go over light switches and plugs in the wall?
Yeah.
I got one on Wednesday and one on Thursday. Amazon Prime. I'm not a member of Amazon Prime, and I didn't order them, but I have, and they're the wrong color anyway. They were off white, and I needed white, so I threw them away. But I don't understand that. Well, what silliness is going on in these computers and stuff that we get beans and light switch plates and all kinds of weird shit?
Well, so I looked up when I got those shades if anyone else was receiving them. And I
Yeah.
saw a bunch of people doing it, and what they're doing is they're taking your data on Amazon and they're sending you stuff, and then without you knowing it, they're taking your name and putting a 5-star review under that product because at least it got delivered to you, whether you put it or not. So what they're doing is they're boosting up their reviews without you knowing it. So I had to go on there, find the sender, find the exact pair of sunglasses, find my 5-star, and then report it.
Wow. That's intense, dude.
It's crazy. Yeah, it's weird. I had a watch question for you, Saline.
Sure.
So
I'll do my
have
best.
you ever heard of the company Swole O'Clock?
What?
Swole O'Clock.
Swole o'clock.
No.
SWOLE. So I think one of the main owners is Thor Jorgensen, the guy who played the Mountain in Game of Thrones. I have a couple of the watches. They're nice watches, range anywhere between $120 to $300.
Mm-hmm.
Out of nowhere, they just shut down. So I was wanting to know if you knew anything about that company, what happened, but I guess you've never heard of them. So it's kind of a
I honestly never heard. If you want, I can ask a few of my other buddies, but if it's important to you. But I've never heard of Swole.
I just wanted more because I've gotten 3 of them, and they're good quality watches. They're just bulky, big watches. Can't find them anywhere now. Their website closed down. Everything.
I love me a thick watch. I do. I'm wearing one right now.
Let's see what you got. That's a big watch.
I'm gonna go grab mine real quick just so I can show them the style. Hang on one second.
Man, that is a cool looking watch, Lee. Good night. That thing is thick. That looks like one of those Invictus watches, man.
That's about 17 millimeter.
Jeez, that's huge, man.
But it's made out of titanium.
I'm a big fan of the heavier metals like titanium carbide is one of my favorite materials. It's what my ring is made out of. I mean, it's nearly adamantium. It's extremely durable. Hey, what's going on, James? Welcome back to the channel, sir.
It's from a company called Zelos. It's my favorite watch brand.
Zelos?
I got like 30 of them.
So I got a question for you here real quick. What is your favorite Christmas movie?
Oh, I could be a wise ass to say Die Hard, but I actually like Die Hard, but I don't want to go down that rabbit hole.
No. You started it. You started it, and I will quickly finish it. Are you ready?
Sure, go ahead.
The director of the movie came out recently and said that is a Christmas movie. That ends it.
Okay. Well, I mean, the movie came out around Christmas, and it had a lot of Christmas stuff intertwined in it. So I would say, what the hell? It's a Christmas movie. I mean, they do Christmas in California without snow and blowing up buildings. What the hell? But a Christmas movie. Y'all are gonna laugh, especially everyone in the comment section who thinks I'm an old hard ass or something. But I don't watch it every year, but when I do watch it, I feel good at the end of it. I like watching It's a Wonderful Life.
Wow. Now I'm gonna move you forward a little bit. I like my 2 favorite like sit down tearjerker movies. Miracle on 32nd Street.
34th Street.
Yeah, that's what I said. 32nd Street. And Scrooged.
Oh, I haven't seen that movie in forever.
Nah,
that That's
love
the
that
kind of movie where you definitely don't want to be you don't want to be drunk or stoned watching Scrooge.
If you're a hate,
Scrooge is great, but you're both wrong.
what's that?
Okay.
Christmas Vacation will always be the greatest Christmas movie.
I didn't say these movies were the greatest. I said they were my favorites.
I enjoyed
It's
Christmas.
the same word.
I enjoyed
Favorite,
Christmas
greatest.
Vacation. That was kind of a funny movie too. It just got a little bit long there after a while. It's like, oh my God, look at the size of that thing.
It's like a Ford.
That's the smaller clock.
God almighty.
Hold it up to the camera in profile. No, take it off and hold it up in profile.
Take it off. Oh wait.
No, don't take that off. No. Okay, turn it sideways.
Lay it so we can see the profile. Turn it, flip it, lay it flat. There you go. Like that.
Oh my. That thing's gotta be at least 18 mil, 19 mil.
Yeah, I mean, it's a monster, man. Like you gotta work on. But this is the Zeus, and it's like I said, it's the reason they're so big is because it's made by the guy who played the Mountain in Game of Thrones.
Nice.
Okay,
So
wait a minute.
they had like Zeus, Hercules, all these other ones.
Swole.
What was the name of that? What was the name of that again?
Swole O'Clock. SWOLE. Focus.
Hang on. I want to find the specs on this damn thing.
Oh, it's ridiculous. But
oh my God, it's a 50 millimeter.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have any idea how big that is?
Yeah, I know. It's on my wrist.
Look at the size of that thing.
I think I swear it looks like
Hey, man.
Wait a minute.
Watches are like bass. Size matters.
100-meter water resistant. Well, it's not a diver, but it can get wet, so that's good. Quartz watch, anti-digi. Okay. You're right. The website's gone.
That's what I'm saying. Out of nowhere, man. And I know, the guy who owns it is doing pretty well. So it's kind of weird that out of nowhere it just disappeared.
Well, normally, hey, what's going on, Pastor Dave? Normally I would go through and we try to talk a little bit about who we think is going to win these games coming up this weekend. But since we've got some lean driver on here, I'm going to ask him first about Florida versus OSU. And I'm pretty sure he's going to say we're going to lose because we have Todd Grantham.
Right.
But I want to get your opinion on the game besides the hashtag Fire Grantham.
Okay. Well, boy.
Now I'm gonna go and tell you. I'm gonna go and tell you. And you weren't on the channel, but when I said this, but you can go back and watch early in the show after the show is over. You can ask Trenches. I was advocating that Florida should be in the college football playoff.
Yeah, I don't know why, but he said it.
No, I believe that he would say it. I mean, if I'll tell you one thing though, I'm pretty sure I could be safe in saying to you, Brett, that if Florida hadn't played Alabama close, you wouldn't say that.
Well, that's true.
But
that's true.
If I got to say, Florida shocked the hell out of me. I thought that would be a 21-point blowout. In fact, I predicted that on a video. But and as angry as I am about the whole season and the disaster that's been, I mean, literally since the Georgia game, the season has been underwhelming. Barely beating bad teams, losing that killer instinct, and literally losing your last two games, and you should have won at least one of them. And yes, I know all about the goddamn shoe incident. Please don't do this to me.
I didn't bring it up. I'm trying to be merciful here.
Well, somebody's going to bring it up. What do I think about the OSU game? No, not OSU, the OU game. I haven't seen a lot of Oklahoma this year, but I know Oklahoma is actually sorta, kinda, maybe playing some defense this year, which they haven't really done before. I don't think their offense is as good as ours, or at least as good as it could be before Pitt's up and quit on us. And yes, I have heard Lou's talking about, the quitting thing. And I while I really hate calling people quitters, he quit. They quit in the middle of the season or during the season. When you stop playing, you quit. And as much as I hate calling someone a quitter, I think Florida has the potential to score as good as Oklahoma can score, maybe a little better. But we aren't playing defense. Okay, let me backtrack a bit. And I preface this by saying I didn't watch the Florida game. I just couldn't. The Florida-Alabama game. I just couldn't bring myself to do it. I still don't know how we managed to hold Alabama scoreless in the third quarter. I mean, that must have been a gift from God right there. But looking at the line score, who scored in what sequence, we never got the opportunity to tie Alabama. They would score, then we would score, and then put the defense on the field, and all they had to do was prevent Alabama from scoring, and then we would get the ball back and maybe score again to tie Bama. We never got that opportunity because the defense never showed up when they had to, and we were always 2 scores behind until the very end when we were 1 score behind.
I'm going to tell you that, in my opinion, Georgia had a bad game against Florida. I'm going to tell you we had a pretty decent game against Alabama as far as the way our defense played. Now, they didn't necessarily execute, but they played decently. And those guys ran over us. There was nothing we could do to stop them. It's just one of those offenses that nobody's going to stop. What was impressive was that your offense kept finding a way to answer back. You stayed in it the whole time. Now, there was a time when Alabama should have and could have put you guys away, but they made some stupid mistakes. But you guys come down there and did what you needed to do. I'm going to jump into the Oklahoma arena here real quick. Now, Oklahoma's offense this year has been nowhere near as powerful, in my opinion, as it has been in recent years. When they played, let's just say going into the end of November, they scored 41 points against Oklahoma State. They held Oklahoma State to 19. The week before, 2 weeks before that, they held Kansas to 9, which was the game before. They held TCU to 14. They shut out Missouri State. They held Texas State to 28. They held Baylor to 14, and they held Iowa State to 21. I don't think you guys are going to have a whole lot of problems scoring against Oklahoma. And I think Oklahoma's offense is starting to struggle. Oklahoma's only scored 27 points in each of their past games. I can tell you with supreme confidence, if they only score 27 points against Florida, they are going to lose. They are not going to win that game. There's no way.
I would agree.
I don't think there's been one game all year where Florida's only scored 28 points. So if you look at all right, so I'm going to pull it up real quick. I'm going to type in Gators 2020 football schedule, right?
See, while you're doing that, I would say that I agree with what you're saying, but Florida's defense has not put up a hell of a lot of resistance against literally anybody. I mean, even Vandy and Tennessee found ways, and South Carolina found a lot of ways to score against us.
Well, this is the way that I'm looking at it. All right, so if we go back to Florida, Mississippi State, you guys scored 51 points. You held them to 35. You scored 38, almost 40 points against South Carolina. You held them to 24. Your Texas A&M game was a tight game. They did score. They beat you guys, but it was still a tight game. It was 38-41. And nobody would argue right now that that was necessarily that bad of a loss. Texas A&M went out there, played lights out. Nobody expected Texas A&M to play that good, but they did. You guys had a break, and then you come back and played on Halloween, and you beat Missouri 41-17, held them to 17 points. You played Georgia, and you basically hung 20 extra points on Georgia. Then you go out the next week and you hang 63 on Arkansas. I think that with the type of high-powered offense you guys are running or were running, that your defense was starting to kind of get away a little bit from you. You weren't really focused on defense enough. And so when you got to November 21st, Florida dialed back a little bit on offense to focus more on defense, and you see that the rest of the season. You see a 38-point Florida versus a 17-point Auburn, or excuse me, a 17-point Vanderbilt. Then you see a 34-point Florida versus a 10-point Kentucky. Then you see a 31-point Florida against a 19 Tennessee. And then LSU game was a blip. I think that was a mistake. And then there was a 6-point difference between you and Bama. I feel like Florida, if they show up to play, if they get off the bus to play, if this was a middle of the season game, I feel like Florida would beat Oklahoma by 14 points easily. I just don't feel like
that's everybody playing.
What's that?
And it hurts me to have so little confidence in a team that I've been watching and been a fan of since 1975. Yes, I am that old. Thank you. It hurts me to watch this team. It really does. It hurts me to say that I don't have the confidence that this team can do what they need to do. I mean, yeah, we hung 63 on Arkansas, but they hung 35 on us. That offense for Arky had no business scoring 35 points. Tennessee had no business scoring 19 on us.
That's true.
However, and LSU certainly had no, on paper, LSU had no business being that close the whole game. I mean,
I blame that 100% on your coach, because I think that, and this is just my opinion, I think that he walked out there with the mentality, and I'll almost bet he said it in the locker room. We're going to beat these guys to death. These guys aren't anything to worry about. They're no good. We're going to go out here and work them up one side and down the other. To me, that's like Dan Mullen. And unfortunately, when you got a team who goes out there and you don't take them seriously, you can lose those games. And I feel like that's what happened.
Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if he was looking at Alabama tape on the sideline instead of watching the game.
And you know, I am a great believer in the paraphrased saying, "One play does not a game make." And yeah, that incident with, pardon me, I'm sorry, that incident at the end of the game was bad. That was bad. And it cost us. It extended a drive that should have died.
Well,
drive should have died. But that whole game was a defensive disaster. It should never have come to the point where they were tied with us at 34-34 with however many minutes were left in the game. It should never have come to that. The defense never stepped up. They never did that. I mean, the offense would give them a lead, come off the field and say, okay, defense, preserve the lead. And they couldn't do it. And it's been that story the entire season.
So I think that, if you want my opinion, and this is what I don't want to see happen, but I'm afraid is going to happen. I'm afraid that Dan Mullen is going to pull his head out of his butt long enough to hire Will Muschamp as a defensive coordinator.
No. Okay, you can make I have said this on multiple streams. I've said it on multiple videos I've made. Hell, I said it today on my live stream. You may or may not have heard it. I'll say it right here. Y'all can make a stinger out of it if you want to. If the University of Florida hires Moose Dump, if that happens, I take all my Florida memorabilia, all my shirts, all my helmets, my footballs, everything, every single damn piece. It goes into crates and it gets packed away, and I walk away from college football until Moose Dump is fired at the University of Florida.
Is there a reason why?
He can't stand him.
The dude's a defensive
Why don't you
genius.
look at his record? Why don't you look at his record when he was coaching the team?
No,
He
don't
destroyed
worry
the
about it.
program.
Not as an offensive coach, as a defensive coordinator, the dude's a genius.
No,
He's a great defensive mind.
I don't want Moose Dump or that Shark Humper fool anywhere near the University of Florida campus in my lifetime.
Are you happy
so-
with Mullen?
So let me ask you, who do you want as the defensive coordinator? And you can't say Kirby Smart.
Anybody but Moose Dump. I don't care. I would love to have Charlie Strong back because he did very well as our DC for a lot of years. I would love to see Bob Stoops, but that isn't going to happen.
I can see Bob Stoops, but I don't think you're going to get him to take a DC role.
Whatever.
Maybe
I can't. I think there are probably plenty of good defensive coordinators, or say a linebacker coach, or a defensive line coach that's ready to step up and become a DC at the University of Florida. Let's go find somebody. I don't know who that person is. All I know is I know two things. Lard ass. This guy, lard ass, has no business being on the sidelines anymore. He obviously can't do the job. It's too big for him. Third and Grantham doesn't work. So he's got to go.
Now
That
I've got
I
to
know.
ask you a question.
And I know that Moose Dump is not an acceptable alternative.
So next question. Where do you think Florida would be if you didn't have what should have been a strong Heisman candidate, Kyle Trask at quarterback? Do you think you guys have a winning record? We'll start there. Do you think you have a winning record?
Yeah, I think we'd have a winning record. I don't know that we would have beaten Georgia. I don't know that we would have beaten Georgia with Trask if you guys didn't make stupid coaching decisions with respect to your quarterback. But that's another subject. And let's face it, Kirby Smart didn't make a lot of good choices there for a number of years, but that's another subject. Do I think we'd have a winning record? Yes. Do I think we would have beat Georgia? No. I think, however, I think with Emory Jones, I mean, that's the next logical quarterback. If you take Trask out of the equation, Emory Jones is the quarterback because he's the next guy on the depth chart. A dual threat quarterback, a true dual threat quarterback. And, Jones may not have the most polished arm in the world, but he can throw a good ball. And he's definitely a talented running quarterback. That would keep the linemen and the linebackers honest and give you another running threat. And we had enough offensive line improvement. God knows we need more improvement, but we had enough improvement from last year to this year that I think we would have done well enough to be a contender in the East, but I don't think we would have won the East this year.
So my question is, where do you see Florida next year? Do you think Emory Jones is a quarterback who can run, or is he a running back who can throw?
I think he's a true dual threat quarterback. He was recruited as a true dual threat quarterback. I think he can throw. I think he needs some work. He needs some coaching up. I think we have the coaching staff to coach him up and make him a better passer. Next year, we're number 2 in the East. Georgia's going to win the East next year. Unless we can do something really, really good with our defense. And I know we recruited – I know we got that running back from Miami. He didn't play this year. I forgot his name. But he's supposed to be, really, really good running back. So hopefully he'll play next year, and that'll help us. Offensive line hopefully gets better. We still have a really good receiving core. I still see us having I still see us having a good offense. If we can improve the defense, then we could be contenders again for the East. But if JT Daniels comes back, which you would know better than I if he's thinking about coming back or not. If JT Daniels comes back and you guys retain pretty much the same team you had this year, Georgia's the number 1 contender for the East.
I'll say it like this: Trask is already leaving, so not worried about Florida. I mean, just to be honest, I mean it took Kyle Trask playing out of his mind against a hobbled Georgia with a backup quarterback to finally beat Georgia, and they did. They beat them soundly. But I think that with Georgia, with a good quarterback in position, the ridiculous number of people we have coming back next year, the fact that you're going to see Kyle Trask leave, you're going to see Mac Jones likely leave, you're going to see probably Justin Fields leave, you're going to see Trevor Lawrence possibly leave. You're going to see a lot of the upper echelon quarterbacks leave. And I think when you have JT Daniels come to the surface, I think he's a likely, if he continues to play like he's playing now, he's a likely Heisman Trophy contender and a national championship quarterback. And I'm saying that not necessarily because I expect him to be head and shoulders above what quarterback play should be, but when I look at what's leaving, and I'm pretty sure he's going to stay because his resume, I don't think is big enough to give him the kind of rating he deserves in the NFL. I think that he's likely going to be a front runner for the best quarterback in college football next year. That's just my opinion.
No,
I'd say it's either him or Spencer Rattler.
Daniels being really good.
What's that?
I think it's either him or Spencer Rattler.
I agree. I think Spencer Rattler's got an opportunity next year as well. I mean, but the backup quarterback at Clemson looks to be pretty good too, so we'll have to see what he comes up with. Of course, he's going to be not necessarily a true freshman, but he's going to have very limited play time versus JT Daniels, who's going to be a well-oiled machine by that time.
And DJ's going to have a lot less weapons.
Yeah. What was that, Celine?
I said, I hope his knee can hold up. I mean, he hasn't played a full season on that knee, and, that kind of injury takes a while.
You're right. He hasn't. But in the games that he's played in, he has stood in the pocket and took some shots. And he's also escaped and ran downfield for first down. So he's looked good on that leg. He has said himself that leg has been good since the season started, but they wouldn't let him play. And that's contributed to the Georgia coaching staff having their heads up their butt. But
yeah, JT Daniels is a really good quarterback. And, if JT Daniels comes back next year, and I guess it looks like he's going to, I mean, he should. You're right. He doesn't have enough of a resume to go into the NFL right now. JT's going to be the best returning quarterback in the SEC on a team that is loaded to the gills. And I think Georgia is coming out of the SEC as the number 1 contender for the national championship next year. I think that highly of Georgia. Quite frankly, they look like a freight train that can't be that isn't going to stop.
Georgia reminds me of one of those teams that if they could ever get out of their own way, we stay in our own way. If we could just get out of our own way, we could do fine. But
hey guys, I'm about to get off here though.
What's that?
I said I got to get off here, man. Merry Christmas, and Celine, it was nice talking to you.
Merry Christmas. Thank you for joining, sir.
Merry Christmas, sir. Have a good holiday.
You too,
buddy.
You too.
Yeah, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go pretty soon myself too. But
Sure.
Georgia is definitely in control of the SEC next year. Not just the East, but the whole thing. I mean, anyone who can't see that is football ignorant.
It would be nice for a change to be the dominant powerhouse. We'll see
I
what
guess
happens.
I guess it just depends on what happens with Alabama. I
Yeah.
mean, they are, if you'll pardon the pun, the 800-pound elephant in the room. And they've got a decent guy coming up behind Mac Jones.
Yeah, Bryce Jones. Bryce Young.
Bryce Young? Is it Bryce Young?
Bryce Young, yeah.
Oh.
Bryce is going to be good, but we'll see what happens. If Mac Jones doesn't go pro, I'll be highly surprised. Najee Harris will likely go pro. Devontae Smith could go pro. Mechie could arguably go pro. Those guys are really talented.
They could lose a lot, but then again, they got a lot behind them too. So,
well, Georgia
let me ask you a question, because you're an uninterested third party observer on this. Heisman.
I'm of the camp that I like running backs, and quarterbacks are great, but I like running backs. And
so you think Najee?
I think Najee Harris is probably the greatest running back I have seen since Todd Gurley. I mean,
he is that damn good, that's for sure.
And here's the thing that impresses me the most. He's that damn good with a Heisman Trophy quarterback behind him that doesn't really throw him a lot of passes. And he's that damn good with NFL receivers downfield, and he can still put up the numbers he puts up. Normally, when you have a player like that, whether it's like at Tennessee, what was that guy's name a couple years ago? Not Tennessee, at Kentucky. Golly, what was his name? Booby Whitlow.
Oh yeah, Booby, yeah.
Booby Whitlow was just running all over everybody, right? But he was the show. He was the Kentucky football team. He was, and his numbers looked amazing. But the problem is that that's all they had. So of course his numbers look really good. Just like if you have two good running backs on your team, they have to split carries, and so neither one of them's numbers look amazing very often. Merry Christmas, Sea Dog West. Have a good night, sir.
Yeah,
Thank
Merry
you.
Christmas, Sea Dog.
But when you have a guy like Najee Harris who is splitting all this playtime with all these other players, and he's still putting up ridiculous numbers, to me,
that put a lot of numbers up against us.
Yeah, they did the same thing against Georgia. Don't feel bad.
Oh, I don't.
that guy is like trying to tackle smoke. He is that good, and to me, if you could say, Brett, pick somebody to give it to, I'm giving it to Najee. That's just me.
Okay, I still think Trask should get it. I mean, yeah, he's on an 8-3 team, but then again, Tebow was on a 9-3 team when he won the Heisman. They ended up being 9-4, but he got the Heisman before the bowl game. I think Trask arguably had the best season of any of the QBs out there. I mean, he set records all over the place. He set record. He was performing at a higher level than Burrow at one point.
Yep.
I think he had a better season overall than Jones did. I really think, and yes, I'm biased. I am a Florida fan. I am a Florida man. I am the Florida man. But I am biased. But I think that Trask had the best year of all the major quarterbacks out there. And let's face it, for better or for worse, the Heisman has become a quarterback trophy pretty much. Although Smith and Najee definitely deserve to be in New York. I would put them on the plane in New York. Actually, it's virtual this year, isn't it? So
right.
Whatever. But Jones is probably going to win the damn thing because he was on the winning team in the SEC title game, and he had a better game than Trask did, even though he threw a pick. He also threw 5 TDs versus 3 TDs, no picks for. They threw about the same number of yards, and the quarterback rating was within a few points of each other. But everyone's going to look at that TD figure and say, "Oh, Jones had the better game." So,
yeah, and to me, I think it needs to be taken into consideration why that between Alabama and Florida, I don't really have much of a dog in the fight of pulling for either team. But I would have to say that if you were able to put up the kind of numbers that Trask put up initially, throughout the season, and then you play Alabama, one of the best teams, if not the best team in the country, and you can still put up some pretty substantial numbers. I mean, you lose the game by less than a touchdown and a touchdown and an extra point, right? And to me, I think the quarterback did his job. I feel like the defense didn't do their job. So I can't really fault Trask for that. I mean, what was exactly in his stats? If I'm not mistaken, like he was still throwing for like 64, 65% in that game against Alabama.
Yep.
Come on, man. I mean,
he had a better game. He had a better game.
NFL team.
I mean, he had a better game against Bama than Jones had against us. So
that's correct.
But I think Jones is going to end up with it. That really upsets me. I don't even know when the Heisman Award is happening. Do you?
No, I haven't looked it up yet. Haven't made it that far. I've been busy with the baby.
Oh, that's right.
But to me, I mean, I think that there is certainly something that can be said for Kyle Trask being a Heisman winner. But I have to look at Alabama and go, my goodness, you got 3 guys on this team that are Heisman Trophy candidates? That's just ridiculous.
Oh, look at this. Look at this. Heisman ceremony 2020 is being held on January 5th. The hell?
So after the season's over?
Yeah, well, almost. I mean, the only game that's left after that is the Natty.
Yeah.
So Trask has one more opportunity to show off. Jones does. Yeah, well, Jones does too. He'll be playing against Notre Dame.
Oh yeah. I thought you were talking about Emory Jones. No, they're going to be playing against Notre Dame, but they're going to crush Notre Dame. I mean.
Yeah, Notre Dame doesn't deserve it. I would personally, I would have put A&M in there.
I would have put in A&M, and I'll be honest with you, I either would have put in Cincinnati or Coastal Carolina just because they're undefeated. I feel like if you go undefeated, then that should be a way to get into the college football playoff. I just do. Because Clemson's got a loss, Notre Dame's got a loss, Texas A&M's got a loss.
Don't start yawning, man. Jesus. I feel one coming.
I've had very little sleep.
Yeah, baby will do that to you.
Sorry, man. Yeah, for me, it's one of those things where we're fortunate to have a season at this point. And I'm glad we've had a season so far. Did it turn out the way I wanted it to? No, not really, but we ironed out a lot of kinks in this weird season for our team. Florida got to flex a little bit for a little while, which is good for the fans, and it's good for the SEC. People want to believe that the SEC is strong across the gambit, and if it's just Georgia every year and just Alabama every year, or and then you have a hit or miss here between LSU or Florida, that doesn't really help the league. We need to have teams from time to time, whether it's Georgia, Florida, Alabama, Auburn. We need to have those teams show up every now and then and flex a little muscle and not be like the Big 10 or the Big 12 where you always only have 2 teams that are worth a damn. Normally it's Oklahoma and Texas, right? And then you got Ohio State and Michigan. Every now and then you're throwing in Wisconsin. And that's usually it, at least in my opinion. Every now and then you have a one-off where you have a Minnesota. But the SEC, Tennessee used to be a powerhouse. Alabama has always been. Georgia's usually been right there in the fight. Florida's been right there in the fight. Auburn's been right there in the fight. LSU has been in and out of the fight. So, and then years ago, Arkansas used to be a hell of a contender. So, I mean, there's a lot to be said for things getting fixed. Now Texas A&M is getting in the mix. They're improving. Coaches are getting fired and hired to improve the conference. When you have a strong conference and you have a lot of fire Grantham. When you have a lot of talent across the league, it keeps the talent in the league because then everybody wants to play in the strongest conferences. So, yeah, that's me. Good night. We've been on here for 2 hours.
Excellent point. Well, listen, man, I'm going to drop off because I am getting a little tired, and I got to get up early tomorrow because
go get you some Christmas presents.
No, my holiday's done, man. I'm done. But I am expecting a very important package from UPS tomorrow, and it's my gift to me.
Well, that's good. You should do that every once in a while, man.
I do it all the time.
Number one.
This is something I've been chasing for a while, so it finally happened, and it's finally going to show up tomorrow. So I'm looking forward.
Make a video, man. I'd love to see whatever it is.
I'm going to shoot a video about it.
Good deal.
And
yeah. Well, thanks for joining the show tonight, Selene. It was really a pleasure to have you, man.
It's no problem. This was actually a fun stream. I've been, you know about my hiatus, mostly because the shit isn't fun anymore.
I was kind of surprised to see you in the comment section. I thought you were going to be MIA for a while.
Well, this comment section in this stream is somewhat of a safe zone compared to the other two. So I wanted, because you were on my stream earlier today, I wanted to stop in and wish you personally a Merry Christmas.
Well, thank you.
And thank you for supporting my stream earlier today because, you good people.
Thank you.
And I wanted to just come in and say that in person. I didn't plan on staying, but I'm glad I did.
Well, I appreciate you being here. You're always welcome here. And as far as just being a safe chat stream, everybody here, I'm very fortunate. Everybody here in my chat stream is really kind of laid back, and then everybody kind of wants to get along. And we do talk a little bit of smack here and there, but it's all in good fun. We can all get along and enjoy the show. That's just been the way my channel has turned out, and I'm very fortunate and very happy that it has. So.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to continue on my break until the first of the year with the bigger, with the two big streams and a couple of the other ones. But I know that this place is fun. So it was good to get here because, this also tells me that streams can be fun again. So it'll help me. It'll help motivate me back into the stuff later, after the first of the year. But for now, Merry Christmas to you, sir. Merry Christmas to the folks in the chat. And I'll see you soon.
Will do. Thanks for joining us, Selene. We'll see you soon, buddy. Have a good night. All right, guys. For those of you here in the stream, go support Selene Driver. He's a good dude. I really like him. Older, mature, wise individual for the most part, other than he roots for a terrible team. I got to set him up to knock him down. All right, guys. Really appreciate you joining in. I got a tiny miss that I want to go see for a little bit. I'm probably sure she's waking up right about now. Thank you guys for all the support in the stream. We really enjoy having you guys on here. You guys make the channel. I can't tell you how much I really appreciate the support you guys give me. I'm humbled by every one of you. So thank you so much for being here. A wonderful, wonderful bunch of people. Merry Christmas, everybody. Happy holidays. Happy Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, Bar Mitzvah, whatever it is you celebrate. Yeah, don't forget to hug your mama. Oh, and one more thing before we get off the channel, I want to bring this up again. If you get an opportunity, go by and review the posters for missing and exploited children. You may be able to save just one child by checking one time. So please take an opportunity to go by and check on that page, the Center for Missing and Exploited Children. Save the children, guys. Have a great day. Merry Christmas. God bless. Watch for that new video. Go Dogs.